What's up everybody, it's RobinGaming here. So Far Cry 4 is not just one of the, but also one of my personal most anticipated games still coming up this year. I think the game is coming out in around 2 weeks from now, yeah. And yesterday the map for the game got leaked. Now, what can we see at this map? We pretty much see that there are 6 big main areas in the game. I'll quickly read them out. One is called, of course, the Himalayas. The other one is Mountainous, not sure how to pronounce it, which is pretty much split into 2 parts. Then you also have Midland, split into 2 parts, and you have Terai. Once again, I apologize for probably not pronouncing these names correctly, but that is what the map consists of. Now, we know the game is taking place in an area they call Kirat, which is pretty much based on Tibet and on you know, all those kinds of environments that are like close to that. Very much reminds me, of course, of Uncharted 2, which had pretty much the same setting, and I absolutely love that. You know, Far Cry 4, I said it before, it's one of the games I'm really looking forward to, but at the same time, when I look at these you know, this map that got leaked now, and I see kind of like the different types of areas you have and the different types of objectives, and you see all the animals there, it honestly just reminds me a little bit too much of Far Cry 3, and I think that was one of my big main fears with this game, and I'm pretty sure that unfortunately that is going to become reality. I think the game is going to be very, very similar to what Far Cry 3 was, because you look at, you know, all the types of things they have, and you look at the location sub-tab here, it says that you have radio towers, outposts, fortresses, and it's completely similar to what Far Cry 3 was. It had the very same mission structure and stuff. And yeah, I mean, once again, it was one of my big fears, and I think it's very obvious that this is happening, because when Ubisoft saw how well Far Cry 3 was selling, it was a very big surprise for them. You know, they announced Far Cry 3 and they thought the game would do well, but I think that game sold like, what, 10 million copies or something. It was absolutely ridiculous, and they were very much surprised by that, and I think that is really what made them say, you know, we need to get Far Cry 4 out as soon as possible, which is why it's now releasing like 2 years after, when normally there were like 3 or 4 years in between releases, which I think is very much telling of that this game, I wouldn't say it's rushed, but it's just that they you know, they didn't really have any ideas in mind to really like innovate with this sequel. I think they were just like, let's make a different version of Far Cry 3 with a completely different setting and story, and then that's totally fine, in the same way that they usually tend to do it with Assassin's Creed. I think it's a little bit of a shame. Nonetheless, I am very much looking forward to Far Cry 4, but yeah, you know, once again, what can I say? I'm not really looking forward as much anymore to the game as I was before, because I did expect them to really do a lot of new things. And who knows, the game might still be able to surprise me, but I'm just saying this is what I'm expecting. The game is going to be, you know, nonetheless very awesome, and especially for the people who have not played a Far Cry game yet, you're going to love this one. It's going to be fantastic for sure. So with that being said, I would like to know your thoughts, you know, on this map that got leaked now. Do you agree with me that you think that Far Cry 4 is going to be very similar to the third game? But yeah, with that being said, I'd like to thank you a lot for watching, and hope to see you again next time.